Yo, we back in the building. It's your boy Yashul. Today I want to talk about a pertinent topic that's been on my mind for some while, for some time. And that topic is college degrees. What college degree our people should be pursuing? Because a lot of our people, we go to college for art, maybe something in the education field. And then what we do is, even Jabari, he majored in Africana studies, which is like an elective kind of. And the problem with selecting those type of degrees, we don't have that much of a payout. It's not that much of a payout with those type of degrees, and we should focus on obtaining the degrees that is going to give us the most money, the most bang for our buck, right? So that's what we should do. I'll see you, Yashar. Let me finish my introduction. I'm gonna let you in, brother. Um, so when we're talking about college degrees, a lot of our people have distrust for college degrees in the education system as a whole. We feel marginalized, and I understand that. But at the same time, you have to leverage every opportunity that we get here. We got to understand that we're not going to be spoon fed. We haven't been spoon fed since we've been in this country. We've had to fight for everything that we've obtained. And one thing we need to make sure we fight to attain for is upward mobility, wage growth. And the best way to get this wage growth is to obtain a major in these certain areas, especially STEM. We're going to cover that today. I'm going to read an article on that. Anything in science, technology, engineering, and what's the math, I think. Anything dealing with those four things have the highest payout in the United States of America. So if you're going to invest in school, because here's the problem with our community, we say, well, if I go to college, I'm just going to accrue debt. I'm just going to be in debt, and it's a scam. It's only going to feel that way if you pick a degree or a major in something that has a low payout. We as a people have to be more wise with our decision making. Like my little sister, I didn't know until I got older and I went to college and I got my trade, but I made sure I instilled in my little sister what classes to take, what electives to select. I would sit down with her and pick her classes, and I basically curated her and selected her electives to get her ready to go into some type of science, chemistry, or medical field. That's everything I was picking. In the school system I was in, they had classes for pharmacy tech, pharmacists, and stuff like that. So I would tell her to do all those classes and go into that area. And now she's getting ready to get her bachelor's in as a chemist, and then she's going to get her master's now. So that work did not go unrewarded. She heeded the call, is what I'm saying. And I told her, hey, this is how much these jobs make. Physicians are the highest paying jobs in America for the most part, and you're talking about $200,000 a year. So even if you went into debt for $60,000 to go to school, you're going to make $200,000 a year. You do the math. So getting these college degrees is what I'm trying to get across to you. The ones you need to focus on if you're going to college, you know anybody going to college. The ones they need to focus on are the ones with the highest payouts. You do not go to school for a hobby. That's another thing. We want to go to school for music and all these other weird things. Do not do that. And a lot of our people, we bank on our sports. But you got to understand how many slots are available in the NFL. How many slots are available in the NBA? J. Cole said it the best. The Pistons only got 8 slots. So if you don't make it to the NBA, then what are you banking on? So our people have to increase our presence in the academic world, in the academic level, and target these jobs and these careers that can amass wealth quickly. $200,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $150,000 a year. When you in a 6-figure club, listen, This is what they say. Education is the great equalizer. I know a lot of y'all not going to want to hear this, but education is the great equalizer. We are oppressed in this country. We need to focus on education. The scriptures say wisdom is better than the sword. You understand? A wise man taketh down more cities than a mighty man. You know, these are all concepts that we find in the Bible. So we need to target and specify these things as far as what college degrees to get. And hopefully we don't make the same mistakes other people have made by picking the, music and education and arts and all that other stuff and focusing on that. And then we get out and say, oh, well, I'm in debt. I went to college for 4 years. But what you major in? You majored in music. You majored in art. You majored in Africana studies. You majored in something that doesn't have a high payout and a high demand. So we're going to get to the articles. I'm not going to keep ranting. So let me get to it real quick. Shar, I see you. Hold on. Give me a minute. Let me get to this article real quick. I want to read this. Let me share my screen so everybody can see. This video is not going to be long. It's not going to take too much of your time today. I'm going to do a very quick live on this. Dealing with college degrees. All right, so everybody should be able to see my screen. Let me go to the first article. Let's start with this one. Investopedia says the worst paying college majors in America. One of the most common reasons why people choose to go to college is to open themselves up to as many possibilities for the future. Financial success, personal fulfillment, career prospects, as well as safety and security during retirement. But do you know anyone who decided to study teaching or art for the money? Probably not. Unfortunately, many of the lowest paying jobs are concentrated in these fields. This article looks at the majors that rank lowest when it comes to earning potential. And so when your children are talking about what they should go to college for, when your loved ones are asking you, are looking for advice for what type of major they need to be investing in, you need to point them to the ones with the highest earning potential. Straight up. Because I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but us as a people, we're below the poverty line, man. We don't have time to play games with education. We don't have time to pick these degrees that really not going to give us any money. We don't have time for that. We're playing catch up. We've been playing catch up for a long time. But it says key takeaways. Many of the lowest paying undergraduate majors today are in education and arts. So if your child comes to you and they want to know what they should do in life and what they should know, what degree to pursue, or even an adult, stir them away from education and the arts. And I know that's sad because education is important. We need to, have more black teachers, but it's like, man, it's not enough money. It's like this country doesn't value those people because those jobs don't pay nothing. It says, by contrast, science, technology, engineering, and math degrees dominate the highest paying majors. So these are the fields that we should be, teaching our children, teaching anybody that's interested in going to college and obtaining a degree from the black community. Focus on science, technology, engineering, and math degrees because they dominate the highest paying majors. You got to look at it like a business model. The most important thing is the ROI, the return on investment. It says over a 40-year career, the difference in income between low-paying major and high-paying one can be more than $3 million. Do you hear that? So if you're wasting your time going to a 4-year college and you're majoring in education and arts, and you accrue all this debt, and it's going to take you years and years and years to pay off because it's going to keep accruing interest, you got to think about this, man. We have to become more pragmatic as a people. All right, so it says lowest paying majors, according to a 2015 report by Georgetown University Center on Education and Workforce entitled The Economic Value of College Majors. These are some of the lowest paying majors an undergrad can pursue. The dollar figures, which are rounded, represent median earnings per year for workers aged 25 to 59. And the first one is early childhood education. We're talking about kindergarten, daycare, and all that stuff. They make about $39,000. Human services and community organization, they make about 41,000. Studio arts, 42,000. Social work, 42,000. So if you want to be a social worker, they make about 42,000 on average. Teacher education, multiple levels, 42,000. Visual and performing arts, 42,000. Theology and religious vocation, about 43,000. Elementary education, 43,000. Drama and theater arts, 45 grand. Family and consumer sciences, 45 grand. Language and drama education, 45 grand. And special needs education, 45 grand. So expect to make below 50 grand a year if you pick any majors in any of these fields. And you notice most of it is dealing with education and the arts. And a lot of our people are, when they go to school, they tend to lean on the arts. They tend to go to music. They tend to go to drama. They pursue an acting career. They pursue to be athletes or something like that instead of really pursuing a real academic career. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on anybody that has these degrees, but it's like for the next generation, for anybody that's going to go to college, they need to wisen up and pick something that's going to be fruitful, that you're going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labors. Not going to be worried about accruing debt and it took you 10 years to pay the loan. And yeah, we're worried about that because you're going to make so much money. You're going to have so much excess cash that paying the loan is going to be like, you going to McDonald's and buying a combo meal. That's what it's going to feel like because you're going to make so much money. So we got, like I said, be wise. It says for comparison, the median salary for all workers aged 25, 29 with bachelor degree was $61,000 a year, while workers with only a high school diploma earn a median $36,000 annually, according to the report. And that's another thing that needs to be pointed out for all you people that's bashing college and saying we shouldn't go to college and you're wasting your time. The statistics and the numbers are not in favor of that way of thinking, because when we deal with the numbers, people with college degrees, bachelor degrees, usually make more than people with just a high school diploma. Now people are going to say, "Oh, we have the exceptions to the rule." We understand that, but we're talking about the majority in general. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. When we're dealing in the probability game, we need to go with what works the most. What works the most is obtaining an undergrad degree in STEM, and we're gonna cover that. It says STEM fields dominate the highest paying majors. So as a Black community, we need to be teaching the next generation to focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. The reports found that STEM degrees, science, technology, engineering, and math, tend to be the highest paying undergraduate majors these days. In fact, only 2 non-STEM majors broke into the top 25. These were in economics and business economics. So beside those two, everything else is STEM. Because, you got a lot of people that, I go to college. That's not for me. Okay, so being a 7-Eleven worker is for you. Being a clerk at 7-Eleven is for you. Working at McDonald's is for you. Working at Walmart, stocking shelves is for you. What's wrong with y'all? Because you'll spend your whole life there at these dead-end jobs and don't get any wage growth and damn near living in poverty, when you could have just spent and sacrificed 4 years of your life and studied real hard and focused to attain a degree to make more money and have more excess cash. That's our problem. We don't have any cushion to lay back on. That's why a lot of our people are suffering during this pandemic, because we didn't have excess cash. So when a lot of people lost their jobs, they didn't have anything in the bank. You understand? And our people got hit the most because it's like Lavelle Crawford said. He's a comedian. He said, we've been in a recession our whole life. I've been eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a long time, he said. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that it's not a game. We are impoverished as a people. We don't have excess cash. We don't have extra funds, that's just sitting in the bank, that's sitting in an account that we can just forget about. We don't have that luxury because we haven't been educated on these topics. We didn't know what college degree to pursue. We didn't know anything about scouting the market and seeing what opportunities we can leverage. We didn't know that. We just was going to school because somebody told us, okay, go to school or go to college. We weren't directed, but we need to start getting more involved in our community and start directing these children to these programs, to these degrees, the undergrad degrees that they're going to have high payouts so they don't have to live that way. Some of y'all are selfish in the way y'all think. You understand? We need to steer these children in the right direction, and this is the right direction. It says petroleum engineering was the top paid undergraduate major with a median wage of $136,000 for professionals aged 25 to 59. The second highest pay went to graduates in pharmacy, pharmaceutical science, and pharmaceutical administration at $113,000. Metallurgical engineering came in third at $98,000. STEM majors between the ages of 25 to 59 earned a median annual salary of $76,000, while the median salary of those with arts and humanities or liberal arts degrees was $51,000. Median incomes for teaching or serving degrees, including education, psychology, and social work majors, were lowest at $46,000. Business majors were in between at $65,000. What's more, STEM majors not only have the highest wages, they experience the largest wage growth. That's important. You want a career that has wage growth, because meaning the longer you're there, the more money you're going to make over time. Because a lot of us have dead-end jobs. We don't make more money over time. You get that same flat rate. They give you a little 25 cents every 2 or 3 years, and you feel satisfied by that. I'm not satisfied, you know. We all shouldn't be satisfied with that BS. We should be looking for gainful employment, not being stagnant at a job for 30 years and barely breaking even, living paycheck to paycheck. This is why you should go to school and obtain these high-paying majors. Yes, you can get a trade like me, but you're going to work your ass off. The more you work with your brain, the less you work with your hands. It's just that simple. All right. And that's what everybody else understands but us. But okay, we're going to get there, hopefully. It says the STEM majors have the largest wage growth over the course of their careers. According to the report, their wages grow by 50% compared to 28% growth for college graduates in teaching and serving related majors. That's something to consider. 50%, bruh. That's how much more money you're going to be making over time as you're in the field, as you pursue that career, right? And you gain more experience. Of course, there are exceptions. A top-paid educator can certainly earn more than a low-paid engineer, and there are many variables other than college coursework that have a strong influence on earnings. Work ethic, one's ability to self-promote, and even dumb luck. Where you go to school is also a factor, as a degree from an Ivy League or top-ranked state university is probably going to prove more lucrative than one from a for-profit college. But the choice of major still makes a huge difference. Bachelor degree holders in some majors earn more than many graduate degree holders, the report stated. It went on to note that graduates with architecture and engineering bachelor degrees earn on average $83,000 annually, while education majors with graduate degrees still trailed them with average incomes of $60,000 annually. The difference in pay is evident right after graduation. The average college graduate earned $37,000 at entry level, the report found, but those with STEM degrees averaged $43,000, while their classmates with arts, humanities, and liberal arts degrees averaged $29,000. You can probably make that at Domino's. If you get enough overtime and you work hard enough, you could probably make that at Domino's selling pizzas. So it's like you gotta put this into perspective and really focus on what your children are going to school for and what you want to go to school for, or anybody else is going to school for. Going to these majors that's going to accrue and amass a lot of wealth for you. So you can have this excess cash so you can do things like invest in property and real estate and open up these different business ventures. And you can start doing things like lobbying because you got enough money to do so. But as long as we playing catch up and we're making these poor choices, we're making less than $30,000 a year, we're not going to be doing anything, because just like the Bible says, money is the answer to all things, or money answer of all things, right? And we got to have economics. We have to, as a people. We can't keep starving ourselves, you know what I'm saying, and depriving ourselves. And the key to do that, like I said, education is the great equalizer. It says both figures are far outpace the entry-level pay of recent high school graduates who average $22,000 annually. So if you just got a high school graduate, according to the statistics, you're only going to make about $22,000, and that's nothing. Like, if your rent is over $1,000, do the math. How much money are you going to have for other things like your bill, your car, eating, surviving, taking care of your children? If you're paying about $1,500 a month, then you're not going to have that much cash left over, man. It's just that simple. You're not, because if you're making $22,000, you pretty much throw all your money to rent, and then the rest of the money is, surviving money. You're not going to have any savings. You're not going to accrue any wealth. You're not going to be able to do any investments. It's going to be very hard pressed to do so, especially in this country when everything's expensive. The bottom line, graduates with low-paying majors can earn less than half the annual income of highest-paying grads. And over a career spanning more than 40 years, the difference adds up. In fact, the report author maintained that what you major in can have a bigger financial impact than whether or not you attend college. Over a lifetime, the average difference between a high school and college graduate wages is $1 million. But the difference between the lowest and the highest paying majors is $3.4 million, they wrote. So it's a huge income gap when you choose not to go to college and when you go to college. Then it's even bigger income gap between the lowest paid wages and the highest paid majors, right? It's $3.4 million difference. So go for the high paying majors. Future income is only one consideration in choosing a college major, and lower paying professions can have their perks. Teachers, for example, typically enjoy more vacation time than many other professionals, often have greater job security and better pension benefits, and are important to the functioning of society as a whole. But an incoming college student hoping to earn a big salary after graduation should probably look elsewhere. So, I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory there. And again, this article is on Investopedia.com. And I want to show y'all something else. If I can pull it up. Man. Let me pull this up real quick. I know we're about 22 minutes in. Thank you, brother. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm always trying to push education, man. Education is what is going to save us, man, economically. Because if we just abandon education and think that we're going to get it any other way, I beg to differ on that. This is how we do it. We do it by sending our children to these schools and molding them and getting them ready from a young age to pursue these careers. Like I did with my little sister. I molded her mind and her career path ever since middle school and selected her classes for her. She's a child. She doesn't know anything. She didn't know anything. Like I didn't know anything when I was a child. I didn't have anybody to, guide me. My father was in jail for 20 years, you know what I'm saying, for selling dope. You understand? And my mother, she tried. She didn't know anything about, highly skilled jobs and stuff like that. She didn't know nothing like that for the most part. So she just know, just go to school, do good in school, and go to college. That's all she knew. She knew the basics. But I learned through trial and error. I got my trade, and I made sure I set my sister down, and I talked to her, and I picked her electives, and I told her the medical field is the way to go because you're always going to have a job. Job security is good in the medical field, and really dealing with science, period. Even if you don't want to be in the medical field, you can work in a lab, a testing lab, a DNA lab, become a geneticist. Because she was like, I don't like people. Well, become a geneticist and just work in a lab and study DNA all day. Analyze DNA. And you'll make over $100,000 a year. So, and guess what? She's got scholarships, so she's not really accruing no debt. Excuse me. So that's the mind frame that I'm trying to get you guys to wake up to. But let me get this chart on Black degrees. If it opens, there we go. Let me blow it up for you. I know it might be a little blurry blown up, but it says African Americans college majors and earnings. Prevalence of African American bachelor's degree holders. African Americans tend to be overrepresented in low earning majors. So the facts are that majority of our people overrepresent low earning majors, meaning majority of our people pursue low earning majors, meaning they get low earning income and they waste their time at college because they should have just been focusing on the higher paying jobs. That's the point of going to college, for that financial success. We don't have time to be chasing hobbies. We're already playing. We own less than 1% of the wealth, to put it in perspective. In the United States of America, we own less than 1% of the wealth. Now, you can say the white man did this and it was done by design. We understand that. What are we going to do to get out of it? We got to use wisdom, man. We got to push education. We got to push STEM. We got to push this. We got to push the highest paid majors. Those are the things we should be pursuing. Those are the things our children should be pursuing. You got to mold these children. They don't know up from down. You keep letting these children go out there and aimlessly select their careers for themselves. You got to mold these people. The other nations don't think like that. You think the Chinese think like that? They're molding their children to be doctors, scientists, and lawyers. They're molding them from a youth. We got to have that same mentality, or we're going to forever be bottom of the totem pole. Okay, so it says prevalence of African American bachelor degrees. We read about African Americans tend to overrepresent in low earning majors. The top 10 majors by percentage of African American bachelor degree holders. Health and medical administration services is the largest at 21%. Human services and community organization at 20%. And a lot of our people are social workers, because that's at 19%. Public administration, 17%. Criminal justice and fire protection, 15%. Sociology, 14%. Number 7 is computer and information system. That should be way higher, because technocracy is the new wave. Majority of the high paying and high grossing jobs is dealing with technocracy, computer science, computer programming, infrastructure data analysis, cybersecurity. So that should be way higher, but it's only number 7 at 14%. And 8, human resources and personal management, 14%. Interdisciplinary social sciences at 13%. And number 10, last but not least, pre-law and legal students. It says African Americans who major in pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences and administration have the highest median earnings at $84,000. So there you go. If we need to be targeting a market or targeting a field, that's a field to target. Look how much money they're making a year. They're not going to be living paycheck to paycheck. They're going to accumulate and accrue excess cash so they can make and generate things as far as owning land, buying homes, starting other businesses to become wealth and have generational wealth. You understand? To become wealthy. Can't have these things. You don't have excess cash. It's just not. It doesn't work. It's a math problem you got on your hands. So again, pharmacy, pharmaceutical science, and administration, they average about $84,000 a year. Industrial manufacturing engineering, $76,000. Chemical engineering at $73,000. Electrical engineering at $72,000. Mechanical engineering at $72,000. Computer engineering $69,000. Civil engineering $68,000. Nursing $66,000. General engineering $66,000. And computer science at $65,000. These are all the median or average incomes for these degrees that African Americans hold, and by far the greatest that we achieve is at pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences. And the reason why I want to show this is because people are saying, well, if I get a degree in that, the white man going to stop me from working here. But these are fields that African Americans are already in. So you can't use that excuse. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry. Yashub is thinking for you. 10 lowest earning majors for African Americans. Most of the majors on the list of lowest median earnings for African Americans with bachelor degrees that tend to be part of the intellectual and caring professions. That is highly educated workers whose earnings tend not to reflect their years of higher education. We do not want to be these people here. These people here. You spend all this money on school, spend all this time in school and all this effort, and it doesn't pay out. Early childhood education is the lowest at 38,000. Human service and community organization, 39,000. Area ethnic and civilization studies, 39,000. Family and consumer sciences, 40. Drama and theater arts, 40. Miscellaneous industrial arts and consumer services, 40. Social workers, 41,000. Physical fitness and parks and recreation at 41. Theology and religious vocations, 41, and philosophy and religious studies, $42,000. We should avoid the bottom half of this chart as a people. If you're going to go to school to get an undergrad degree, do not get any of these fields: early childhood education, human service. Do not be a social worker. Focus on STEM. You notice the top side of the chart is STEM. It's either dealing in science, technology, engineering, or math. That's what the top margin where all the money is getting paid at is there. The harder you work with your brain, the less hard you have to work with your hands. That's just a fact, man. Bachelor's degree holders refers to adults between the ages 21 and 59 with a bachelor's degree but no graduate degree. Earnings data are reported for workers employed full-time, full year. The source is Georgetown University Center on Education and Workforce Analysis of U.S. Census Bureau, American Community Survey Microdata 2009-2013 is where they're pulling these numbers from. So the top margin might be a little higher if we can get an up-to-date 2020 or 2019 chart. All right. And if you want to view the entire document, download the African American College Major and Earning from the Georgetown University Center. All right. I'm gonna let my brother Yashar on if he's still here. I'm sorry, man. I had to go through that because I wanted everyone to see the statistics behind the high-paying majors versus the low-paying majors and some of the mistakes we make as a people when it comes to selecting a school. All right, Yashar, you're in. Yeah, and if you want to add any commentary,
family.
What's going on, brother?
It's all good, man. Great show. Great way to start the day off. As far as I'm concerned, as far as the way that I move, I'm a team guy. And I say that I'm a team guy because I don't care for, the term science. I don't care for how it's pushed in society. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not in the business of pushing science in that fashion, the way society pushes it for our people, for our youth, for our future. I push team, technology, agriculture, technology, engineering, agriculture, and math, right? Same thing, just minus science. So within in that framework, the technology, the engineering, we still can push towards medical field studies. You know what I'm saying? Which is a part of knowledge, what they call science, right? But it's medical knowledge. It's just not like that broad word science. I can't stand that word, bro. So moving forward with that, I look at it like this. When you're talking about education, right? There's nothing wrong with college. There's nothing wrong with sending our children to colleges, right? The problem is when we send our children with no structure, no focus, no motivated focus, right? Like you were saying, you set your sister down, you made sure her focus was right and her motivation was right. So the focus was to establish a means of making money, you know what I'm saying, and putting yourself in a position where the type of job that you will particularly be working, you know what I'm saying, it's in high demand. You know what I mean? And if it's not in high demand, when they are hiring, you're going to get paid more than, the average individual, right? So I understood you clearly on prepping and putting your sister in position to be successful, which is what we all should do, which is what we think that we're doing when we sending our children off to college by saying, what you want to major in? Okay, cool. So then you feel like, okay, well, I'm gonna link her up with the necessary counselors, right? That's going to put them in position. Well, those counselors are not for our families. We have to be the counselors. As you heard our brother Yeshua break down very clearly and thoroughly, he sat his sister down, showed her what's what, made sure that she understood what she was getting into was going to benefit her when she was done, right? These things we don't do. We say, oh, what did the counselor say? Well, what input did they have? Because we're looking for them, right, to help us. And so in places where we should have some understanding, especially if we plan on sending our children somewhere. We know for a fact in our mind, financial wise and mentally, that we're planning on doing something with our child, whether it's sending them to college or, to wherever it is that you feel like you want to, put them and get them started as far as being independent. Well, if we're going to do that as adults, as the ones that's protecting our children, we should be doing the research before they even get there, right? So we should be talking to the so-called counselors, not sending our children to go talk to no goddamn counselors. You know what I'm saying? We should be doing the footwork, the tough work. So all we have to do is explain to our children exactly what it is, how to do it. And if you go this route, you're gonna veer off and it's gonna take longer. If you go that route, it's gonna take even much longer. So if you stay focused and you stay true to your focus, it's no way for you not to be successful. Unless you just completely just don't want to be successful. You see what I'm saying? So prepping is very, very important. But understanding the focus that we should have our children in is where we lack a lot, because we don't. We say, oh, well, just as long as you get a good job, as long as the degree that you get, is towards a job or a field that's in high demand, that's going to pay you well. Okay, that's a good thought process while they're in school, not as graduates, in my opinion, right? That thought process of building their reputation, their resume, their in the field, experience, like all that takes place during college time. So now they done worked and understood what a check is like. They done seen the money, because the field that they're in, not only can they see what they'll make, if they put so many years into that field, but they can also see, generally what it is to come into that field making it, by studying it and actually doing the work. My thing is, in order for them to be able to do that type of work or move like that, they have to establish a trade. If we're not pushing our children in high school towards a specific trade, it's going to be kind of hard for you to kind of veer your children to something that you would like for them to do when they're in high school and outside of high school, because the mind is already establishing themselves and they already seeing what they want to do. Just like myself, like I wanted to play ball, but I also wanted to be an officer, because I thought being an officer in my community would change things, right? Well, I was able to accomplish both. But the thing was, when it came down to me being an officer in my community, being paid to do so, they sent me through the ringer. You understand? Passed they written test 3 times, passed everything that they needed me to pass except for the polygraph. When I got there, they shut that down. They came up with some excuses, and I was at the point where this is my 3rd year, applying with these with this agency, and they still playing games with me. So I refused to go a 4th year, a 5th year, a 6th year, just to try and say, you know what, if you just keep the fight going, you can, man, fuck that. I put my all into it the first time. I put my all into it the second time. I put my all into it the third time, including cutting my locks that I had started to grow, and they was already 2 years in. But I chose to cut that because the recruiting officer that I was working out with every single day or every other day for 6 months was like, yo, you doing awesome, bro. You got an awesome, you got an awesome background. Everything is good. You know what I'm saying? You come up, you show up every day, you work your ass off. Man, cut your locks because it's getting time for you to actually sit down in front of the board and talk to them. As soon as you pass the polygraph test, you in front of them and you talking to them. And if they see you at locks, they're gonna feel like your mentor is not ready. I'm torn at this point. I'm like, fuck, do I want to cut my locks, man? This is 2 years in, man. But I'm looking at, the future. Like, man, I can let my shit grow back. You know what I'm saying? Once I get established, boom, boom, bam. You know what I'm saying? Once I really get in and get my position in, they can't tell me to cut my shit and this and that. I can let my shit grow if I want to. That was my thought process. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Boom, cut my shit. I swear on my life, man, when I cut my shit that next week, I got a call from my recruiter who wasn't returning none of my calls for a whole fucking month. Before that call, she called me and told me that, oh, you have a ticket that you didn't clear, and right now the hiring process is on freeze. I said, what? Now, Yashub, you know me, bro. I'm hot now. But I couldn't express that the way I express it online. Why? If I would express that to her that way, they would have redballed me off the rip. Period. Point blank. It wouldn't have been no second call, wouldn't have been no callbacks, none of that shit. They would have just been like, every time I apply from that point forward, like, nah, nigga, it's a wrap. Your mentor ain't right. You cussed one of our officers out. You know what I'm saying? Because she dropped the ball and didn't call and keep up with you. I'm like, well, shit, nigga, that's what they there for. The recruiters are supposed to answer our calls. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we reach out, they respond back. How come this motherfucker wasn't doing her job and y'all okay with that? So trial and error for me tells me that I teach my children to establish a trade. Boom. Once they figure out what they want to do, then we work together, or I'll do the work while they doing other things to map out the plan for them. And if they like the plan, then boom, they go all in. You know what I'm saying? If not, then we come together with a plan so that they can go all in on that. But it's no way on the planet I'm about to allow mine to be stagnant. Let me show you something, right? Real quick. So if you look here, this is material my daughter is working with. Got her little pins and everything in it. What she's doing with that, she's establishing being an entrepreneur, making sure that she understands how to make clothing. So push come to shove, it ain't about the money. It's about, you know what I'm saying, making sure the family got something to put on their back, something to put on their shoulders. You know, that's what it's about, man. If I make her think about money, right? If I put in her thought process, money, make the highest amount, then how comfortable is she gonna be? How happy is she gonna be in this life that she's living every single day, waking up? Is it about money, or is it about living a righteous and comfortable life? Yeah, we don't need money in the society, but that should not be the main goal. That should not trump our mental when it comes down to our development as adults, when it comes down to maturity. You know, as we're coming into an adult age, as we're coming into what I would call a seasoned elderly age, you know, past your 40s into your 50s and 60s and things like that. Our thought process should be nation building, not money building. Nation building consists of money, but that's not all it is. You understand what I'm saying? So education, very important for us to understand. But if we're not counseling our children here, just like they're trying to do there, that's where we lose our children. That's where we drop the ball. That's where, when it comes down to us being at a certain level, when it comes down to finances and wealth, it's because, like you said, your mom, she only knew the basics. My mom, she knew the basics, but because she was so caught up in her own life, in her own world, she didn't really lace me up like that. You know what I'm saying? So we have to make sure that we as parents in this day and time in our generation make time, especially for them that we brought forth. They have to have that. Even though we didn't get it, some of us got it, and some of us understand how to get it. For those that don't, but that wanted it and understood what you needed, you have to be the difference in your children's life, like I'm being in mine's. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm about to let mine just sit down and be idle. No, either trade or you going to school. That's it. There's no option. There's no other option. Or we building our own family business. 3 options: family business, trade, school. And the trade and the school go hand in hand, because after the trade, so that you can put yourself in a position, if you want to work for somebody, you go get the degree, because the degree tells them that it's no problem for you to finish and accomplish anything. You know what I'm saying? You can read, you can do the things that's necessary to make their business thrive, right? That's what the degree tells them. With the trade and that degree, what happens is the trade is for you, for your mental, your knowledge, your understanding, your experience. The degree is for those that you might want to go into business with. So you say, I go to school to be for culinary arts, to be a cook. So I get my certificate, and because I want to upgrade, I want to do a little bit more. I say, well, let me go do my research and find out where I can go upgrade my skill. So boom, I have to go, say, to New York, deal with some chefs over there. I gotta go, say, to London, deal with some chefs over there. And in that circle, I get, I guess you can say, certified, or I get this, whatever it is in that area or that skill set, right? When it comes to culinary arts, they give me what I need, so that whoever I go to say that I'm the guy, I'm the chef. Here's my resume. Here's what I've done. Look at my portfolio, right? So now you're a master chef, because you done went through the necessary steps to put yourself in that position to be that. That's what going to college is for a tradesman, right? So I go get my trade in carpentry. I say, you know what? I put my 5 years in. I got my journeyman. So now I want to go so that I can look and have something that other contractors don't have. I'm gonna go and get my contractor's license. I'm gonna go get, a few other different licenses, so that they know for a fact that I'm very well qualified to receive that contract. That's what going to school, getting degrees and all that stuff speaks. It speaks words that you don't have to speak out your mouth. You understand what I'm saying? So but that's when you're dealing with other nations of people. That's not necessarily saying that this is what I'm going to require from you so that you can get the job done for me. That's for other nations of people. That's for when you want to make a paycheck from them, right? But see, when we establish what we're trying to establish, which is rebuilding our community, it's a different look. So I'm not going to say, where's your degree? Where's your degree from Tennessee University? I'm not going to be asking for that shit. I'm going to say, show me what you can do. Let me see your portfolio. Let me see your resume. Link me to those who you work with, right? References. That's what I'm going off of. I don't give a damn about your degree, but see, that's me. That's not society. Me and society don't move hand in hand. That's why I say I'm a team man and they a STEM man. Excuse me. You feel what I'm saying? I'm team, they STEM. Only thing I lack, only thing I don't deal with is their way of thinking, which is science. Their science. I'll deal with our science. I'll deal with our way of thinking, but I'm not going to throw that into the title. Why? Because it's a broad word. Science, it doesn't specify who knowledge they're dealing with. It doesn't specify that. It's just talking about knowledge. Like, nah, bro. I'm not about to go and just sit here and read different sciences just to figure out that all these sciences is lying. I'm not about to do that. That's wasting my damn time. You know what I'm saying? From the understanding that I've come to establish from years and years of studying, now I use it. I use it. I don't sit on it. What did I go through all the studying for? To get the understanding for it? Just to say, you know what? It makes sense in my brain from what I've read and studied, but because this right here ain't saying what I've read and studied, then maybe I need to sit down and see if I'm missing something. I need to read a couple more books pertaining to this type. Like, nah, I'm not playing myself like that. That's how they teach us to sidetrack us and to get us off the focus that we need to be on. So when we talking about what Yeshua was talking about, the different areas, right? The different areas, the different fields of study. Very important. Medical field. Don't get caught up. For my sisters and my brothers, I know for a couple of years, I've been hearing a lot of my brothers say, oh, well, the medical field is witchcraft and this and that. Well, it's how you use it. It's how you go about using the information and the knowledge. A lot of our sisters have taken themselves out of a life-changing career, right? Because they husbands was ignorant and tell them, you gotta, in order for you to be with me, you gotta leave that shit alone. You can't be a nurse anymore. You can't be a registered what is it? A registered nurse assistant. You can't do the RNA. You feel what I'm saying? Like you can't do you can't go be a dentist because like this is crazy, fam. It's crazy. The Most High gave us understanding of a lot of things, and that's including dealing with medicine, dealing with herbs, dealing with our health. So why would we push a lie like that? It's only because of our simplicity and our not having an understanding, right, of truth and repeating lies and doctrines. So for my family, that's thinking about that, but you got other people in your ears about the medical field. It's not witchcraft. It's not. How we go about doing things is there's a right and there's a wrong. You have to understand the difference, right? When you understand the difference, do the right thing. If you've been doing the wrong thing, just get back in line and do the right thing and you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Through repentance at that. I yield for right now, bro, but that's where I'm at with it. I'm a team man, not a STEM man.
All right. I'm about to end it, man. I just want to read one more article, then I'm out. I wanted to make it real quick and short. We're thinking about reviewing a debate right now. So let me read this real quick, and I'm gonna close out, brother Yashar. Thanks for your input. Just read this one more thing, then I'm gonna close it out. All right, I'm gonna share my screen, read this last article, wrap it up in a nice little bow. It's real quick, won't be long. I ain't gonna hold y'all up this no longer. We will be doing a review on a debate here soon, so stay tuned to the channel. All right, so if y'all can see my screen, I'm on statchatva.org. It says a great number of jobs require more education, leaving middle skill workers with fewer opportunities. Over the past 3 decades, the level of educational attainment has increased in the U.S. labor force. Between 1992 and 2016, the share of people with bachelor degrees has increased from 18 to 25%, and those with an advanced degree, including master's, professional, and doctoral degrees, has increased from 9 to 14%. In 2016, 2/3 of the labor force had at least some college experience. Along with the growth in higher educational attainment, the number of occupations requiring college degrees also surged, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics list of the 30 fastest growing occupations. 18 of those require more than a high school diploma. So I want to end the show with this because when we look at the job market and we're talking about attaining jobs and securing economic growth and upward mobility within the Black community, we have to understand that majority of these highly paying jobs require more education. And I would like to see ourselves on top, not on the bottom. And the way we can achieve that, like I said, sacrificing 4 years of your life, 4 years of your children's life to obtain that and that will push the wealth, that will push and provide our people with the much needed economic growth that they need. Because looking at the numbers, only 25% of this country are bachelor holders. So if you want to be more competitive, anybody can go to Walmart, anybody can go to all these service jobs or whatnot and make that little money. But when it takes what it takes to go to the school and learn the knowledge and the technical aspect, you're going to have what's called job security, because not that many people, only a fourth of the country, even have degrees. And then when you divvy up those degrees, only a few of them are going to go to STEM, which are the highest paying and the most ROI, return on your investment, when you go to school. And that's what I'm trying to get to our people's heads. If you're going to go to school, you need to go to school for a major with the highest output and highest pay. Because what's the other point? We are below the poverty line as a people. We don't make that much money. We don't have our own GDP. So the way to address that and tackle that, like I've been saying, the greatest equalizer is always going to be education. Push education. Make sure that we target these majors that have the highest payout. STEM, my brother disagrees, but STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math are the fields that pay the most here in the United States of America. So with that, I'm going to close the show. Shalom, brothers. We out.